This is RPMMORadio,
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
a podcast all about roleplay and MMORPGs.
I like what you got. Good job.
With your hosts, Ashen Phoenix, Sid, Jazz, Sibh'Bae, and Kishmas.
Everybody off. We need to go on a quick adventure.
Greetings and welcome, roleplayers. This is RPMMORadio, our 34th episode, The Age of Consent. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Ashen Phoenix, and with me, as always, is everybody else, Jazz, Sib, and Sibh'Bae.
Hey.
What's going on, son?
Kishmas will be here eventually. He, as we already knew, kind of had to work again today, but should be here after a little while if he's able to be here at all.
He's slacking, bro.
I was gonna say, we're gonna call him the slacker tonight.
Man,
And he's 21.
And
We'll
he
start-
is still 21.
We'll start the bell of shame.
They're gonna
Shame.
Mm,
Shame.
mhm. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Of course, if you're watching us live, we appreciate you tuning in at twitch.tv/RPMMORadio. If you're not, shame on you. Or thank you, one of the two, for listening to it on the podcast, which of course you can get on iTunes, Android, podcast apps, Podbean, and everywhere like that. Tonight's going to be a fun episode, I think. It was actually suggested by one of our listeners, and as such, I want to remind you that we actually appreciate you guys, and we are always willing to talk about any kind of show stuff or any topics that you want to hear us talk about or might have questions on. So you just, if you want to, you can always join us at rpmmradio.com/Discord. Our Discord channel lately has been quite the blowy-uppy thingy.
All the appreciation. All
Yes.
the appreciation.
It's been very cool seeing everybody talking there and chat and all that stuff. I also want to, of course, give out a special thanks to all our Patreon donors at the Raid Boss level, which is That Guy Laza and Da Truth Bob, as well as
That guy, Liza.
two new
Thank you,
donors.
guys.
I don't know your Discord name, so I'm just going to do the first name, Cameron and Jordan. Unfortunately, it gives me your full names when you guys sign up, and I don't know who you might actually have been. So,
Thank you.
yeah. So
Yep.
appreciate that. Eventually, the Discord names, I've got it set up, and I'm waiting to see if it actually activates it in Discord on its own. If you have do Patreon and your Discord connected, it will actually update that all on its own. So if you haven't done that and you want a special green name to show that you're a supporter of the show, appreciate it's all you got to do is link it somehow. It's actually fairly easy. So easy I don't know how to describe it because I have to see it in front of me.
Everybody wants a green name.
Everybody
Because-
wants a green name.
My name is.
And also,
You're only
thank you for our new followers, Very Venice, X Dyer X, and LF14 Golf, which I think he's looking for 14 Golf, which is a terrible. I'm not a golfer, but I'm pretty sure getting 14.
No,
on a
that's actually
hole.
good.
No, 14
Oh,
per
on a
hole
hole.
is really,
On a
really bad. 14 at actual golf as your full game makes you, I'm pretty sure, a dictator in North Korea. Hey, everybody knows the Supreme Leader. The first time he ever golfed, he got 18 hole-in-ones because he is that goddamn good.
Mm-hmm.
He is that. Between that and their unicorn
We'll go with
layer,
that.
is there nothing North Korea doesn't have? I mean, freedom, internet, power, food, water. Other than that, I mean, is there anything they don't have?
They don't have us.
State-run
true.
internet, no MMORPG radio.
That's right.
Yep.
Right.
That's right.
Hail the glorious leader, or he'll kill us. So, anyway, I do appreciate everybody for following us, and that's our new followers. And I want to go into something real quick. It's kind of showy still, and since we actually hit the affiliate status on I wanted to say Patreon, but on Twitch, we can actually do these little things now, or so much actually that you can, which instead of just other than liking the page, which is always awesome because it lets you always know when we're going live, which will be at least obviously once every week, and then we'll have a couple times during the week here and there where we have to stream other stuff. Otherwise, we'll lose it. And it's also kind of fun to bullshit and stream stuff that may or may not be interesting to anyone else. So far, it's largely uninteresting to anybody else, which I understand. Watching other people play video games is not quite the same as listening to a talk show. I definitely do understand that, yeah. But I will say we are just as entertaining while playing video games as we are during the talk show, except for Jazz, who is always boring.
Mm-hmm.
I had to say that because somebody told me I needed to start being nice to you, and because of that, I'm going to have to double down.
Yeah, awesome. I saw that coming.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. You just make it worse. Just keep on telling me to be nice to her. It's just going to get worse and worse for her. It's like a horrible hostage. That's right. It's like a hostage situation. The angrier you make me, the worse it goes for the hostages. And in that case, the hostages are the hosts. But
I'm a hostage.
You're a hot dog hostage. You're a hostage. Hostage dog? Host dog. Hostage. Anyway, so aside from doing, of course, subscribing, you can following and all that, you can actually subscribe now. And what that does is it gives you a nice little crown in your name. I'm not really sure what the point of it is, to be honest with you, but it does throw a little bit towards us as well. Really, everybody that has Amazon Prime, because Amazon owns Twitch, just like they own most of the free world, everybody with Amazon Prime gets one free Twitch Prime membership thing, subscribership. I'm explaining this really well, aren't I? This is going.
You are indeed.
This is going
Just
good.
stick your foot a little further in your mouth to the right. I think you'll do good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is why we can't have nice things. You're mean to me.
Oh, I'm just retaliating for Jazz.
Thank you.
But no, if you do that, if everybody gets it for free. All you have to do is link your Twitch account and your Amazon Prime, which I'm pretty sure they're probably already linked because again, they own it. It's like they own everything. So, and that one, I believe, also will get you a special color name in Discord if you got those linked as well, which will be naturally purple because that's the color of Twitch. And I do like purple, so it works. So we appreciate everybody doing that. The other thing that you can also do now is they have these things called bits, which basically, if you do that and whatever you type in there, it's the little, what's that little triangle-looking spaceship eyeball Illuminati symbol in the messages.
Mm-hmm.
So if you click on that, anything above 100 bits, which I think they're like a cent a bit, whatever message you put after that will actually stream directly onto the show. And if you want to make sure something is heard, other than calling in, which of course you can do as well, it's just a fun little thing. It interrupts the show. You could say something silly or funny or serious. People use it for all sorts of things. I've seen it on a lot of streams, and since we're there, we may as well jump on the bandwagon because, I mean, let's be honest, we're followers. We just basically are trying to just do what everyone else does. Only better. A lot better. Except for Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's awful.
All the better.
Yeah.
Keep trolling, son.
Yeah. So, no. Just wanted to let everybody know about that. That's part of why we were trying to get towards that. It's just for an extra bit of fun, extra bit of stuff to help pay for the show and make sure we can keep things going and moreover keep improving things. Like I've said before, we actually have ideas for other stuff. We want to actually do something Sib had come up with, figure out some way to do like stickers and stuff like that with the show and weird little like, proud to be a role player kind of stuff on it. We haven't done it just yet, but something that we'll eventually give out to the Patreon people once we figure out how to do all that stuff and get some money to pay for it all too, because none of that comes free.
We need the sweet pin buttons like they had in the 80s.
You know
Flair.
what we need?
We need flair.
We need pogs. We need to make pogs. We're bringing pogs back. You get the slammer and the other one, and we get the one with Alf on it. So, well, we appreciate everybody putting up with all that fun talk.
Yes, we really do.
But it's show stuff, and it's all got to be explained every now and then. So it is what it is. So and now that we've gotten all that out of the way, what have we been doing in roleplay? For me, not a damn thing. I have not logged in basically more than a couple minutes here and there the entire week because work has been so exhausting and tiring. I basically come home and vegetate in front of the TV. And maybe I could play a single player game, but I'm so mentally worn out. I didn't want to be shitty to anybody or be cranky if someone did something stupid that I just wouldn't normally bother me, but for some reason, because I'm ultra tired. So I think this is the first time I've not actually done any roleplay the entire week, and I don't know how long.
Probably quite a while.
Yeah, I think the only other times I've ever gone this long without roleplay is like my grandparents died and I had to go to California for a week and a half, like no access to a computer. Other than that, I've always roleplayed at least a day or two, but even the guild stuff, I just like, I'm good. I'm just going to sit here and watch.
You always need some downtime.
Yeah.
I worked 9-10-hour days last week, and the days I should ran together. That's why I wasn't here at that, and I just kind of forgot what day it was. So, dude, sometimes you just need to sit and chill.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what I did. I just watched, we watched some movies. Shoot, half the time Sib just, passed out in bed. She was tired too. So I've got nothing to update. Who wants to go next? Maybe they're
I'll
more
go
interesting
next,
than me.
Since mine's about the same. I think I logged in Thursday night and I tried to go to the guild, Alanu guild night, and I failed. I couldn't even type words correctly. I mean, I was like, it was awful. So I was like, I'm just going to go back and run around and do nothing. And I think that was the only night I actually logged in. So, and yeah, that's short and sweet. Hopefully I've been in the game this afternoon and I look forward to being in the game tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. So
There you go.
I'm hopefully going to be RPing.
Yeah. I even missed out on the ESO logging in yesterday to kill one thing for a free loot crate. I totally blanked on it.
Oh, man, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
I do think I actually did log in, though.
Well,
So,
you have to have killed
for me.
something, too. Like anything.
I'm logged in like Jazz, but I didn't kill anything. It was what it was.
Yeah. I didn't even get, you guys are one leg up on me. I did today, though. I specifically logged in. I killed the first thing I saw, and then I logged right back out because the show is going to start soon. So,
But, yeah, that was mine. Short and sweet. Nothing really interesting. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have failed you as an RPer.
You failed me for the last time, Commander. So, what about you, Stray? You got anything? Just
Very little. Let's see. We had a night playing Trajan. That was fun. Apparently, he'd upset his lady, and then upset someone else bringing something else. To be fair, Sia's kind of his nemesis, so he didn't really care that he pissed her off. But he did square up with her and apologize because it worked on his lady. So he figured it'd work on Sia, and it did. And he's a piker. My high elf was social at the thing, but I was pretty much role-playing and chit-chatting with the folks that don't get much role-play. Pretty much got ignored. Still enjoyed it. Bugged out.
Now, sometimes you just have to hit him in the head with a ruler. Or is that just the nuns that did that?
I think that's just nuns.
Oh, okay. Well, you need to be a nun first. And then you can fly and hit people with a ruler. It's all right. What about you, Jazz?
I did some roleplay with my main, Kia, and her man.
Jazz, don't forget we saved freaking caves last night. I forgot about that.
Yep, last night
Carried away,
we had Talvani night, and right after Talvani night, Caves left to go handle something on his own, which he then got in over his head and called out over the amulet, and we all rushed off to go try to save him, and it was fun.
Good.
So yeah, it was fun, and poor Caves got saved, which he'll hate horribly, of course. He got dragged back to the guild hall to be healed, and he's resting. Let's see. So I played all 3 of my characters for brief periods of time. I think on Tuesday I role played on Sia at Riften. Was kind of dead, but it was fun. So yeah, it was a quiet week, but I was just wiped out from last week. So I really I went to bed on time every single day. I'm very proud of myself.
Everybody's wiped out.
Yeah, it sounds like
it's been a busy 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It has.
It's been rough. So, well, it's a good thing we do a show about roleplay and don't actually, roleplay. But
I role played. I just didn't get to do it much.
Yeah, well, I mean that stuff happens. It's just life gets, especially when you get up there, or shoot, even when you're younger, just shit gets in the way. You can't help it. You get tired, you get old.
Let's just put it that way. Adulting sucks.
Adulting does suck.
Yes,
it does.
Holy time crunch, Batman.
That's right. It's just. Yeah, it wouldn't be so bad if people didn't keep sending us bills and we didn't have to, pay for subscription fees to MMOs and buy new MMOs and things like that. Of which, why Defiance of all MMOs is getting a reboot from Tryon, I have no idea, but okay.
What else did they do besides that one?
Tryon? Oh, shoot. They did a couple other... You'd have to look it up. They've done a few of them, but... Defiant, I liked the show, but then the show defunct, but they kept the game going, and now they're like, what we should redo is we're going to call it Defiance 2050 and revamp it from the ground up. It's like, okay, well, that's random. But anyway, completely random MMO problem. But
scraping the bottom of the barrel for entertainment.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad game, but it wasn't a good game. It was just
right. Why would you remake a game that was just a game? I mean, It wasn't. It's not like let's remake WoW from the ground up, which of course they've done several times.
With
that makes sense.
With 10 and 7 million players, sure, that makes sense. Yeah, Tryon.
I can see that.
Tryon did Rift, and Rift isn't bad. That was it. I knew they had done something more things, but. Tryon's a weird company. They always have been. A lot of them are. They just, Daybreak Games, example, really, really bad. They're screwing up their properties left and right. At least it wasn't just EverQuest. Now they're screwing up H1Z1, which was apparently the only moneymaker they had. Yeah, and they fucked it up so bad that I think it went from something like 90,000 players or so at its peak, give or take. Now it's down to 3,000.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I agree. I really wanted to like Defiance too, and I liked the show. It was really smart. It was a really great world that they had built. The game that went with it was just not. It was just like a really bad version of Gears of War, but online. So anyway, I don't even know how we got onto that, but still, it's MMO related, so we're gonna go with it. All right, so before we get into our main topic, we've actually got a sneak preview at something new. We'll see how well it goes. So without further ado, we're gonna go and check in on a new episode of To Catch a Roleplayer. Welcome. Tonight we have a very special episode of To Catch a Roleplayer. Our undercover operatives have been speaking with this individual for 3 weeks. He believes her to be a teenage role player who lives in a small market area, but she's actually one of our agents. They're supposed to meet tonight for the first time. Okay, here he comes now. Hi, hello. Why don't you have a seat? Yeah, just right over there. Firstly, we know what you're here for. So why don't you explain it? Right. Okay. Okay. Again, there's no reason to lie. We actually have all the transcripts here. So our agent offered you 2 eat her pie, and you said, I'd eat the whole thing from front to back. Just what is it you meant by that? So, wait, okay. Wait, so you thought she was talking about apple pie? Really? So, let's see here. When she mentioned her soft, white, milky mounds, and you replied, I want to rub my face all up in there and lick every part. Whipped cream. You actually, okay, you thought she was talking about whipped cream on top of the pie. 2 dollops of it because that's the way you think all pies should be. Okay, I see. All right, well, then how do you explain this one? When asked, what would you do with her? You said, I'm going to mix it all up, get up in there, and put it all in your hot oven. There'd be a dog barking behind me. Right, cake. So you meant you wanted to bake a cake with her. You thought she was a baker. Okay, you know what? Damn it. This is why we don't have halflings on. For the love, could we get someone to verify that these are actually deviant perverts and not just hungry halflings from now on? You know what? Turn off the camera. Turn it off. Huh. Well, as shows go, that does not sound like it's off to a good start. Damn halflings are always ruining everything, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
You're a halfling hater, bro.
Well, they're perverts. They're dirty. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and hit into our main topic, and that is... What?
A comment about what you...
Yeah.
Oh, that was actually awesome.
Yeah. It's fun. It's going to be really uncomfortable, though, when we bring on the 16-year-old. So, let's see. So tonight's topic, of course, is going to be being underage while role-playing. It's a topic asked for by Manning in the Discord, who is 16, going on 17. I'm not going to sing the damn song from The Sound of Music.
It just started in my head.
Yes, the minute you said that.
Isn't that sad? Yeah. Yeah, I've never gotten through that show because I hate musicals, except for the ones that are actually entertaining, like Sweeney Todd or Little Shop of Horrors. I could get through those. I saw Spam-A-Lot. That was really good, but I saw that at the actual theater. And it's also
dude.
Monty Python.
Spaceballs. Just saying.
Spaceballs. That's not a... Is that Spaceballs musical?
At the very end, they have a song.
Oh, okay, yeah. But that's on a whole musical. That's. I mean, Spaceballs is just awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, anyways, so they had asked actually for. Yes, I did say I hated The Sound of Music. It's because I don't like any musicals really, except for a very, very small handful. Because I don't like things where someone sings something when they could just, say it out loud like a normal person.
Then it wouldn't be a musical.
Opera. Then it wouldn't be a music or opera.
That's
Opera's
the point.
Awesome.
Right.
I
Opera's
love
opera.
opera.
I have a sword. It's a sword. My sword.
That's awesome, though.
That's terrible. Yeah, we get it. You got to, your entire show is 15 minutes worth of work. It's like ours, 15 minutes worth of entertainment crammed into 2 hours. So, anyway. So if you're underage, a lot of guilds, as we all know, a lot of roleplay guilds have the 18 over rule. You got 18, because that's the legal age of consent and all that stuff. So I had never actually really thought of, I didn't start roleplaying until I was already in my 20s. So never really occurred to me that kids really roleplayed until we've got a few of them. And I'm like, but I still never thought of it because most of them just up and lie about their age.
Yes.
Jazz?
Yes, they do.
I never did that, thank you, but I
No,
still
but you know of it.
Oh yes.
By the time
Far,
you
far
started
too many.
role playing online, I mean, the internet had, you were. I think you were past
I
your
was
teenage
old.
years a little ways. Yeah,
I was old. Yeah.
you had actually skipped by those by just a little bit. So,
Yeah, just a little.
but yeah, so like I was saying, we really do appreciate fan feedback on that stuff. So, with that, I actually got to talk to Manning for a little bit, and we actually also have them on here because they actually wanted to talk about it as well. So, appreciate Manning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you
Hello.
very much. I appreciate it.
No
Welcome
problem.
to the show, dude.
So you're 16, right?
Yes, I am. I can be
Man.
an ID if needed. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you even have a driver's license yet, really?
No, I have a permit though.
Oh, man. Kids these days. No, I'm kidding.
They're slackers.
Well, no, I do appreciate you actually being willing to come on and actually talk about this too. It's funny because when you had said that, I was like, I never really thought of that. That there might be people that are under the age of 18 that are like, I don't want to have to lie to people about my age, but I still like to role play, And in talking with you, clearly, you're not an idiot. I'm going to be honest with you. You have better set and structure than most of the 30 and 40-year-olds I know and role play with. So
Preach it.
good on you.
Yeah.
Just stay long enough, he'll start cutting you down. It's
No. I was proud of that. I was glad to see that.
I'm just trolling, but yes.
Well, a lot of that actually comes from my earlier days of RP, which I'm sure we'll get into later. But yeah, a lot of it comes from my really, really earlier days of RP and wanting to seem more professional when I did my RPs instead of, just looking like an idiot.
LOLs, ha ha ha, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. The texting lingo, I still can't do. It still takes me longer to do that than if I just said the damn words. So so as we were talking, I mean, clearly you understood. You understand why people have the 18 plus rule for a lot of guilds. For the and a lot of that really comes down to either the dark stuff, the gory stuff, or usually the sexy stuff, which is usually not all that appropriate for pretty much even adults. To be honest with you,
True.
You bunch of perverts. The hell's wrong with you? There's teenagers here. But so how did you get? What amazed me, and I think Jazz, you've told me this about your kids too, was how young you actually started role playing. You want to tell everyone about that?
So as far as how early I was when I started or how young I was when I started role playing, I think I was around 11 or so. And I wasn't like role playing on like MMOs or anything like that. Generally my RP started off in a very, very weird place, which a lot of people are going to laugh about, but I actually started role playing on Roblox. It's not on like the weird stuff that you hear on, YouTube videos or something like that, like where there's people like little 8-year-olds trying to have sex all the time. And it's like, no, I don't do that. I went on to these like weird emo, like anime kind of, role playing things. And there was probably a lot of people who are around what age I am now that were trying to role play there. And then, they taught the younger kids basically, and we all just had a decent time. I mean, there was a lot of hate between I'm a 6th grader and I'm a 2nd grader, but it's like that doesn't really matter much, So that was actually one of the places where I really started, get my grammar down and started, to not look like an idiot instead of being like APPL, you know what I mean? Like, so that's where I started.
I don't even know what APPL stands for.
No, hey. People like PBL.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. I thought you said APPL. I'm like, no idea.
Oh, you're so old.
Hey, people, that one I get.
Hey, my kids started role playing on Roblox and Minecraft. So
really,
yeah,
they were doing
it
in voice, which was bizarre for me. I was like, "What are you doing?"
In voice,
and they were like, and they were 11 and 12, and they would be talking weird and being very inappropriate, like swearing. And I would come in and go, that's enough. What are you guys doing? And they're like, we're role-playing, Mom. Well, you can role-play without swear words. Thanks. And
that's great.
Swear in there.
Yeah. So, and I actually, I had forgotten kind of about that, but I mean, of course, like something Sib had said earlier, of course she didn't do that, but this technology wasn't around when we were that age, I mean, shoot, the internet was still like, dial up like we just said last time, but
right.
I did Legos and G.I. Joes and Ninja Turtles, and that was basically our version of role-playing.
I did Legos.
Yeah. We just didn't have the digital stuff, and it's basically
right. I mean, my brothers and I did that with the people making...
Right, you would make up your own little stories, and you'd be like,
right.
"Oh, let go my grape, Skeletor."
Yeah, yep, all that.
I did Barbie. I will admit.
Ashen,
sorry,
this will strike a chord with you. I mean, I had all the Star Wars toys, the G.I. Joes, did the same thing. But me and my buddies in junior high really got into Final Fantasy VII, and that's when we all started role playing, like in other games, pretending to be those characters.
Yeah.
And then as we got a lot older, we're like, dude, we're like totally cocky. We're not that dude. You got to make your own dude. So I mean, it kind of started there. I was on again, off again, but it's a road, it's a process.
Yeah, it really was. And I think the first game now that I'd almost totally forgotten about it, but believe it or not, the first game I think I ever role played in, it wasn't an MMO. It was Star Wars. I think it was Dark Forces, because there was a huge mod community around that, and you could make other Jedi and Darth skins and things like that. Yep. And we would. I think we did it in we didn't do it. They were able to do a text thing through the actual game, so it wasn't text, but we would be like, it was basically just the role play was just a reason for us to eventually beat the shit out of each other in the game. It wasn't super complicated or deep stories, and I think my name was so cheesy. I think it was something like I think it was Darth Ravage. So bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah. You guys actually reminded me of something when when I was looking at the pictures as you guys were about to start up. I saw a Wizard 101 logo. And I'm like, wow. I just had flashbacks. I'm like, what? Because I actually role played on Wizard 101 when I was a kid too. After between Roblox and stuff like that. Wizard 101 was kind of a weird place, and they had so bad censoring that you could barely do anything. I think that was one of my first ones.
Yeah, Sib and I played that.
Benches. That was my first.
We realized when we saw characters calling each other benches constantly. I'm like, I don't think that means what we think it means. I'm pretty sure it's just substitute for bitches. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So there's you can never really, kids, you can't censor kids. They're going to find another word that means the same thing.
They will find a way.
Yeah, exactly.
But, no, you're actually right. Wizard 101 actually had for especially the younger audience, apparently had a pretty big role play, community among the kids and stuff like that.
We saw somebody get married in Wizards 101, and I was like, can they do that?
Yeah, that's right. And they were like, we were like, man, I think I made the joke of, man, I really hope that's both actual kids and not a 13-year-old and a 48-year-old. That's
yeah, I can understand that.
That's some of the danger you get into, which is why that 18 and older rule comes in, right?
Yeah. To put my perspective on that, I really never have encountered anyone that has been that I know is even my age or is even pretending to be my age on MMOs or ESO specifically. But I wouldn't doubt that it wouldn't be happening, because it's obviously going to happen, but it's just whether or not that you know what you're doing is the big part.
Yeah. So and that's one of the reasons why so many roleplay guilds, it's as much a legal reason, because I've never heard of anybody going after somebody for sexually explicit content with a minor or whatever. It's not out of the realm of possibility. And
I was.
Oh, do you? Well, you tell the story, because I'm not aware of it. So.
I kept it pretty hush-hush because I didn't want to freak anybody out. But I had to deal with a situation where a young man was ERPing with someone in the guild who was very young.
But of course you did.
And he did not tell anybody that he was that age. We all assumed, I forget what it is. He was, of course, a vampire.
Naturally.
That was, but we had some problems with him Yeah, say it isn't so. We had some problems with him about godmodding and taking things too personally. And I was dealing with him, and I upset him one night because I told him that he was going to have to leave the guild if it didn't stop, because I couldn't have people constantly complaining about his mixing. And up until then, because his application said he was older, he believably was. I mean, when you didn't think he was a kid when you were talking to him in text. He was well-read and spelled well and all that stuff. So it never even occurred to me that he was that age until he popped on one day and didn't say, I said hi to him when he popped on, and I said, we'll need to finish our conversation. That's what I told him, because he had kind of left in a huff. I said, we will need to finish our conversation. And that's all I said to him. But apparently one of the other ladies in the guild sent him a very racy tell in character, I hope. And it wasn't him. It was his father.
Oh, no.
And his father and this girl got to talking, and she got very, very explicit, not realizing it was the father and that he was a minor. So she contacted me first in a panic. Because
You're right, no shit.
She was like, he's going to call the cops on me. I don't know what and I was like, wait, whoa, breathe.
Jazz, you know what that's called, right?
What?
Epic cougar fail.
Yeah. Well, so he sent me a tell about 2 or 3 minutes after she did, said that he was on the phone with the police and and I said, first of all, I call bullshit. This is ridiculous. I can prove he told us he was 18.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, you can. And I said, I can send you screenshots of his application if you'd like. Mm-hmm. So I saved my butt. I mean, we talked off and on for 2 days, and his son never came back. He deleted the account. And yeah, he was pretty pissed. But he was appalled at what was taking place. He was like, how can you let people talk to people like that? I said, they're grown-ups. Yeah. I don't care if they're
let them do anything.
Yeah. I was like, I am the guild leader, and if they want to get it on with their husky in the back room, that is not my problem.
Okay, gross.
Because they're grown-ups. Hey, it happens a lot. Okay, so I had to deal with that. So...
Not my
I got
husky.
very close to my mic. No, but it was a situation where I had to deal with that and the legalities of it, and I actually did have the police.
And that's one of the reasons you have to do that.
Yeah, and after that, we got much more careful.
Yeah. Yeah, and in a case like that, but that's the thing too. So many guilds do have that because dark RP, sexual RP, blah blah blah. Yep. But then there's also a lot of them that aren't, that.
And I talked to the police, and I had to talk to SOE, and I said that SOE asked me if I would be upset if they recorded, we all know they have copies of everything, right?
It's not.
We all know they
there.
do. They're like, we don't actually have to ask you, but we're letting you know that we're going to do that. I don't care. I don't have anything to hide.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, they were really explicit, and I sent him a copy of I had them contact the, what was it called back then? Guild Launch? Was that?
So, yeah, it sounds right.
Was that it?
Yeah,
Guild
it was before Engine.
Yeah, Guild Launch was really good about that kind of stuff, and so I contacted
it was not good for
Slater.
Anything else.
Yeah, I contacted this guy named Slater. Slater contacted the police, sent them the logs of everything that from the application process. And it all went very smoothly, and it was just a little cringeworthy. But the point being that I've had to deal with that, and that's why we got so careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand where that makes sense, and I'm in a guild where they have rules to where if you're 16 or 17, you have to, you're restricted for certain things, and I personally believe that's the way to go because that makes sense. Like there are some people that are 16 and 17, no doubt, including myself. So you still want to let them RP, just not in that sense. And I personally don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to trick people. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? It's not my thing.
Yeah.
That's why I've always said, hey, if anything is going to go on, I'm not going to do no ERP whatsoever. And if anything else goes on as far as our characters relationship-wise, I'm going to make sure that they know that I'm 16 and that they understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
Alano doesn't restrict, but Silver Circle needed to. Alano is a much different guild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like for me personally, I've role played with. I mean, we've had Nelock, we've had a lot of, under 18. Of course, he lied about it, but we figured it out. But
we figured it out when he turned 21 after he'd been in the guild for 5 years.
Yeah,
I miss Nilly, man. Nilly's
I love that guy too. But I have no problem role playing with underage people or at all. I don't. For one, just like you, Manning, I don't ERP. You know, I mean, that's how Jazz, and I think I've told the story before, that's how Jazz and I actually met, was her character tried to seduce my character. I don't do that. So he brushed her off, which...
Of course she did.
Which in character made her want him all the more. Because nobody had rejected her before that because...
Ever.
Because men are sad, lonely people online. She hadn't met you yet, Stray.
Ooh.
Well, no, I'm saying because he's equally as like that. You're
like me. Shots fired.
Quite a dirty burn.
That one went right over the bow.
Boy, that didn't
actually... Someone needs some Neospore in there.
That could come out like I intended.
I can take the heat. I can take the pain. I'll take it all.
But no,
I will remember such, sir.
You don't do that kind of, your character probably would have done the exact same thing to her. Of course, actually, I take that back. He would have just tried to stab her. But still,
he would
he would have said no. And also, here's your kidney.
After all the drama that's involved and the crap, I quit.
Yeah,
stupid ERP
for me.
Well. There's no point. Yeah. It's a headache. It's annoying. It's instant drama. You don't need that.
Right, and I don't get anything out of it anyway. I've always liked character development and everything like that, and also it complicates things needlessly, at least in my experience.
Yes.
So that's why I've role played with a lot of underage people, and it's just fun and just chatting and this and that, and usually it comes to blows, like because my character Xanis was always hitting people, like because he liked to train people to fight. So he was like they'd be talking and all of a sudden he'd kick them in the head, and if they dodged it, they dodged it, and if not, they learned to dodge it next time.
Or punching Ren in the face in a guild meeting because he just kept needling him until he finally lost his temper, and then Ren's looking at him like, you lost your temper, Mr. Patron.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Still totally worth it though.
Marcus just looking at him like, seriously? On the stage, no less.
Yeah.
Ren's whole thing was, I'm going to make you sink to my level, and he did. And I was like, oh, he did it.
Mm-hmm. Well, even the mighty fall a step or two.
Yeah.
But, so, of course, let's see here. We, sexual stuff, blah, blah, blah. But, so I'm going through our notes. It's allegations of sexual misconduct. So, and that's, of course, that's obviously one of the reasons, like we said, 18 plus to protect against that stuff. Protect kids, blah, blah, blah. And so let's see here. I totally lost my train of thought, and I'm going back through the notes. But like we said, it's a lot of, the teenagers and stuff like your age. I mean, you guys are you're growing up with computers in a way generations before haven't. You've got access to these things from an early age, and I mean, shoot, there's kids growing up today that are you're gonna be here in another couple years going to be like, damn, that is so weird that you did that.
They have chips implanted into their brains.
Right, yeah. What was that old commercial, the PlayStation 9, where it was like spores that just like went into your brainstem or something
God.
that. Man, the graphics will be really good though.
That's great.
But yeah, so it's crazy to think of how things have advanced so quickly. I mean, EverQuest was 1999. It's
dude.
Like one more year and that will be 20 years old, which really in the scheme of things, that's, I mean, it's pretty old, but that's like the beginning of that technology, and it's advanced so far, every generation of them. So with you guys growing up into it, I mean, is there, I'm sorry, I'm just all over the place on this one because I'm trying to get my train of thought back. One thing that you had said, like the restrictions on the guild you're in now, that's things like what kind of stuff is it that they do or that they don't allow you to do, or kids in your age, or not kids, but teenagers in your age group?
Honestly, I really don't know, and I think that's for the better. You know what I mean? If they want to keep it secret, that's up to them. And I totally understand that. I've heard things of like brothels, and then that's maybe some more gory stuff that I've heard, but that's about it. Like there's very limited things that 16 and 17-year-olds don't know as far as like that kind of stuff, right? Unless they haven't had experience with it. But what I'm trying to say is that they're doing it because they want to, either want to save themselves or they want to save the kids from having something wrong with that. So, I really don't know. And that means they've done their job good. So
yeah, and
all the good, all the well to them.
Yeah, and on that too, of course, part of that, obviously some of this comes down because let's be honest, you're obviously right now you're in front of a computer or something, you're talking, you have access to everything in the world. It is literally at your fingertips on the internet. Yep. There's nothing that you can't be like, I wonder if that exists and look it up,
Yeah.
And the only thing obviously keeping stuff like that away from people is adults, for one, things like, I don't know, parents.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume you've got those. You're here, so I'm hoping hoping there's some sort of parentage involved. Otherwise, we are already being invaded by aliens.
Yeah. So, when I was younger, I was on the internet and I was doing stupid stuff just like any other kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like what really, really gave me the push to be good is just to, is my parents being like, hey, you know what I mean? I understand you did that stuff wrong and I'm mad at you for it, but here's what you can do better next time to not be stupid and do better, in your whole life. And, I think that's one of the major keys. I'm not a parent myself, quite obviously, but, I feel like if you are going to let your kids go on the internet and stuff like that, I would say, yeah, have a talk with them about it. You know what I mean? If they do something wrong, treat with it respectively.
Yeah, don't flip your shit, basically.
Exactly. Somewhere in the middle would be probably the best.
Yeah, because, I mean, I know this is going to make you feel weird, but like our son is 15. He's only a year younger than you.
Oh yeah, no. I play with people in PvE guilds that are like that, so it's all good.
And he's he's got his own computer. He plays I think he plays actually a lot of Warframe. I think as we said before, we hear him up there quite often. He is not the quiet little boy he is when he's in front of us when it comes to language, especially. Yeah, you're muted, woman.
So, Alec, while she's fixing her mute, I gotta say, bro, you were wise beyond your years, and it's good to hear that stuff. Welcome back, Sibs.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, you're muted, woman. That's all I needed to say.
I've had barking dogs. I've had somebody showed up.
Yeah, we had Grandpa showed up to pick up his truck, of course.
Yeah, so
and of course, of all the times, it's only in the 2-hour span where we're doing a show.
I'm like, okay, everything's gonna happen right now.
Yeah,
we're doing
that was what that's what the dog was barking at in the middle of that other thing. Speaking of dogs barking.
Yeah, I know.
Now it's Jazz's turn.
Never ending.
They've
been barking the whole time.
But no, and it's actually really good to hear too, because like I said, in cussing is one thing, and he's talking. I mean, I was 15, 16, 17. It's what people do when you're around your friends. You make fun of each other and you cuss at each other most of the time. It's just a thing that happens, And as soon as parents show up.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't do it around us.
Right. He doesn't realize that the doors inside the house aren't like the doors that connect to the outside of the house, as they're hollow. And sound travels through a hollow door very, very well when it's shouted. And apparently you suck at your video game because you're really getting you're really getting angry. I think I've said before, I've actually had to text him in the middle of like, okay, first, watch your language. Second, quit sucking at the game because you wouldn't have to cuss if you were doing good.
Oh man, does that make my kids mad when I say that? I love saying that to them.
Get good, scrub.
That's great. That's spectacular. Yeah.
But that's kind of a difference too. Like, I mean, I don't know how old your parents are. How old are they?
They're in their 40s.
Okay, so I mean, they're probably they might be a little older than.
Sigh.
Might be a little older than me, but not as old as Jazz. And definitely not as old as Sibh'Bae, who is 21. That's right.
Eternally 21, but that's Kishmis. It's eternally 21.
Yeah, my grandma, I always used to live with my grandparents, and they always used to say, "Oh yeah, I'm always 21 at heart." So that's a nice 21.
Yeah. What was that you said, Jazz? You have to grow up, but you do have to get older, but you don't have to grow up.
Yes.
Like
growing up is inevitable. Growing older is inevitable. Growing up is optional.
There you go. Mm-hmm. That's the one.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So, one thing too, going back to what you were talking about with, what they exclude you from. That's actually kind of neat that the guild you're in, they don't even bother letting you guys know what you don't get. So there's like no hurt feelings like, hey, we're doing this thing, but you're not invited, youngling,
Yeah. No, they do a very good, they do very good from hiding it from people like me. And I don't take it as hiding it like, ooh, I
right.
Do this, you know what I mean? I just take it as, it's
out.
It's like it's not my place, and once I grow old enough, I might be able to do it if I'm still in the guild. So
yeah, and if you're even like like you were saying with brothels and stuff. Like I'm 30. How old am I? 38. Dude, trust me. When you get older, another 20 years, you're gonna be like, I have no idea how old I am.
Yeah, exactly.
But like brothels and stuff like that. I've seen it a lot, and I've gone to a few of them just to see, and I'll be honest, it's boring as hell to me anyway, personally.
It's pretty lame.
It's not fun, I know.
Yeah.
It's basically a tavern, a version of a tavern where people just pretend that there's boobs. It's pretty much all there is to it. It's like, and honestly, the quality of roleplay, if anything, and this is again my personal opinion, goes down, not up.
It does. And I will say that is true. Anytime that there are brothels and things like that there, the level of roleplay and the level of interesting roleplay just plummets. And I generally am like in another room, another tab screen, just reading.
Right. You can glance at it every now and then and be like, yep, 5 minutes later, still haven't missed anything.
You got to remember, those folks are addicted to that particular kind of ERP, and that's all they're there for. They're not there for any character development, shattering RP. So it's like the Taco Bell of freaking RP there when you go.
Man, that's an insult to Taco Bell at that too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, the cheesy gordita grunches at that place are just yes.
Yes.
You know what's funny? That's what our son likes. He's like, the gordita box. Like,
yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
They're just putting Mexican words together at this point. I mean, to be honest.
They really are. When I was in EQ, I ran a brothel on an alt for a while. But most of the role players that I brought in were not actually ERPers. They did the fade to black because people like to say, that their character went. And so they would park themselves in the room and we'd go do something else for a while and then they would leave. So a lot of it was either fade to black or it was just assumed. People that wanted to do just that, I knew who to pawn off on. And that would be her over there. Oh, and you need real gold. Have fun. Bye. Wash hands. Yeah, so
sterilize with bleach.
Yeah.
Right.
And I do enjoy ERP in the right settings. I find that most of the time it's very boring. Unless there's a reason for it and it's doing something to move the character forward. Vacarina did a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was largely her feeding, which always amused me. Because half the time the people that were doing this had no idea, A, that I was tabbed out and reading. And
but they were taking it very seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
They were taking it very seriously and I'm sure doing things I didn't want to think about. But I was tabbed out.
Putting on their robe and wizard hat, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Whilst you left your guard outside your front door, and I wish you told me you're reading an article or doing something, because I'm sitting there like waiting for some idiot to walk by the door so I could have some kind of role play. Thanks, boss.
Guard role play.
I was talking to you. What are you talking about?
Sounds like me at the withered tree, like at the other bar, just sitting
Yeah.
there, being like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait.
Yeah, and that was Strayface's character was my character's guardian, and so when she
Not
was
by choice, but I
no,
digress.
he had no choice. He was basically he belonged to her. So he would have to just stand there, and I always gave him the right. I said, dude, if you're bored to tears, log out, go play someone else. It's okay.
Yeah.
But he's a purist, and so he would stand there and hope somebody walked by and talked to him. I always felt bad for him because I was, either talking to him in tells or, like I said, tabbed out and reading. Because I
feel bad. Whatever.
I mean, I did. I always felt bad that you didn't get to do anything. That's why I would talk to you in tells.
Yeah, you did do that. I will agree.
I never, if I want to have entertainment, I can go say, hey, honey, put that down. Want to come in with me? It was never a problem. So I never needed ERP like some people do, but it had its place.
Yeah, and not to get into all that stuff. So, like I said, you're really not missing out much on that.
No.
The only other thing I could think of is like gory, violent torture stuff. Do you do that kind of role play at all?
Me, no. I mean, like, I don't see the point in not doing it personally because, and that's just me being 16.
I guess it depends on your character too.
I mean, I've seen Pulp Fiction. I think I know what I'm doing. No, I'm just kidding. Right. But, you know what I mean? Like, I've been desensitized towards that stuff a little bit since I have been on the internet most of my life.
Right. Well, and I mean, shoot, most modern shows these days. I mean, what?
Most of that kind of stuff. So I understand it, but I don't personally do it, but I can see why they're doing it. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't. For some reason, you actually cut out there, so I missed.
Oh.
Okay, I thought I was having a stroke, but
no.
Where did I cut out?
You had said that
right after Pulp Fiction.
Right after Pulp Fiction, we kind of lost you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So no, what I meant, it's all good. No, what I was saying was like, what I was saying is, I was desensitized, or well, a lot of people are desensitized nowadays, more desensitized than their parents. Being on the internet so long, right? So, or most of their lives.
There's
so,
only so many cat videos before you lose your shit, right?
Exactly. So, you kind of learn that about that kind of stuff, and through your own life and stuff like that. So, I don't see exactly why, but that's just me being 16, and I understand they're trying to save their own backs. So I can see why they're doing it, and I don't do it personally. So,
but you really don't. You don't even. But if you see it, you don't even care. It doesn't phase you or anything.
If it's in RP, it's in RP, and if it's out of RP, it's out of RP.
Like I could see there's certain picture. You see certain things. Especially when it happens in real life. It's awful. But someone describing their intestines falling out and or whatever, it's like you're like. All right. I mean, it's still just
exactly.
It's still just words, and really, I mean, like I've said, you can see that sort of crap on ABC and CBS and Fox and NBC on most of their TV shows at 8 and 9 o'clock. Watch a CSI, and you're gonna have somebody digging through and somebody's guts and innards sooner or later.
Cough, cough, Torchwood, cough, cough.
Right, exactly.
I've ever seen that. Yeah.
And shoot, that's BBC.
Yeah, exactly. So, I see where you're coming from there. So
yeah, so that's not one that I mean. I kind of get it, especially but probably not so much for someone in your age group, so much as younger, probably.
Yeah.
But
I
have a quick question. Do you write stories? Just a curiosity.
Me? No, I'm not really into that kind of stuff. I know how to compose a sentence, but I'm
partially literate.
Yeah. So, but I'll write my character stories, and I'm actually like putting up my own website and to do that kind of stuff right now. But I can compose, anything like character related, but I can't just like make a story out of my mind. I'm not that creative. So,
have you ever tried it? You might surprise yourself. You never know. If you're RPing, you've got to be creative in some sort of manner. Oh, can't hear you, Sib. I think we're having a problem tonight.
No, can you hear me?
Silent. Yeah, I can hear
there you go.
Okay. I was going to say, if you're RPing, you have to be creative in some way or another.
Yes.
At least I would think so.
Yeah. Usually what I do is like I have a creative day, and then I like write what I have down, and then what I do is I kind of like, I kind of go off of what I have written. You know what I mean? What is this character like? What is it? What do they do? This kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And then I just try to trail that out and until I get another creative day and do something else. So.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
let me ask you something, Sitch. Because you're a younger person, you young people these days.
Yeah.
What kind of stories is it that you actually like? Like, what kind of character development and characters are you like? What's your character actually like? The one you play in ESO, or I think that you said you play ESO, right?
Yes, I play ESO. Yes.
Yeah. You mentioned the Wither Tree, so duh, I should have put that one together. So, what's your character in ESO that you roleplay like?
So I play a character named Alaric. He's a Nord. This is mostly coming from me personally. I mean, this can't really represent everyone that's young because there's so many different people.
That's
right?
why I'm just
you know
asking
what I mean? So,
you specifically.
Yeah,
like
me
what
personally,
you're
most of my life has been devoted to military stuff.
Okay.
Hence Nord. So, I'm in JROTC, all that kind of stuff. So, I've done all that kind of stuff, and I love the military and all that stuff. Recently, I got denied, which is kind of sucky. But
yeah, it blows.
Yeah. But what I do is I kind of work myself in some ways that are very, very subtle into that character. So things I know, like per se, just general character things.
Yeah,
I mean, strategy, tactics.
Right.
My character right now, it's weird because he's around 35, 40-ish. He was there during the second Akaviri invasion, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he was an Ebonheart Pact veteran. So, he's going through a lot of things like, trying to become peaceful and stuff like that in life, and try to get rid of his past. Well, not get rid of his past, but come to terms with his past and stuff like that. Yeah, redeem himself. So, a lot of those military elements come into that, and my character in one of my guilds, he is a smith, or he's an apprentice smith for one of these.
Nope. Yeah, it happened again.
Tries to pass on his lineage to the younger guys. So I think that's kind of a cool thing, a cool dynamic that I made. You know what I mean? So that's what I do. I personally just kind of go off of what I know. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Well, yeah, and of course, and again, since you're younger, you don't have obviously the experience that somebody twice your age has had and gone through and things like that. But you can, you actually can. If you focus on like what you're doing, you focus on what you do know where you're at right now, which since you like, military and JROTC and all that stuff, you know that. So, I mean, military is military, whether you're in the starting stages up to the very end. Oh, I think we're having a problem with Discord tonight.
I think so too.
The third hiccup of the night.
Yeah, it keeps. Yeah. Do I keep cutting out like in the middle of what I'm saying to you?
Yeah,
guys?
you just cut out. I don't know exactly where. Does anyone else?
It's got to be.
Yeah, it's cutting out.
Yeah, that's what was happening to you. I think it must be something with Discord, which is a disadvantage to having to do this on Discord, but it's also let's see, 34 episodes in. It's the first time this has happened. So
yeah,
if somebody cuts out, just let us know. I'm kind of keeping track of it.
Alrighty.
But we'll keep going. But so like I was saying, like, you know what you're talking about when it comes to the military stuff. And whether you're 16 or 34 and a veteran, what you learn in basic training and like what you're learning now, it's basically the same. You just learn more details of it perhaps. But
yeah.
So you can fake, and it's just basically what you're doing. You can fake being a retired, military guy in his 30s because the knowledge is the same regardless,
Well, it's kind of the same, I don't know what it's like,
Right.
See, JROTC doesn't do anything like tactical. They don't do rifles. They don't do anything like that, right? But I can see where it comes from.
So it works out.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is like, they're back in the swords and bows time, right? You know what I mean? So I can just study the swords and bows and how those tactics were used, envelop those into my character, and then get the military like demeanor and put that into the character, and out comes Alaric. So, that's kind of what I've done and what I've, And I never have ever claimed to be anywhere near what a kid who just got out of high school, doesn't know anything about the military, and goes in the military knows?
No, naturally.
Because I'm not anything like that.
Well, you're role playing, so you can fake
exactly.
it.
But I try.
Yeah.
So I try to learn that kind of stuff, and I try to learn a bunch of stuff. But yeah, and I try to role play what I can.
Well, and a lot of that too. I mean, he's a little older than you, but I've cut out again. Well, the good thing is people on the podcast can still hear me because I know. I was just burning time until I came back on because I don't know what's causing that. Since it's recording straight off my computer, podcast people can hear me even when you guys can't. So when it cuts out, when you let me know, when she told me, I started wasting time. But what I was gonna say was, he's a little older than you. Like we were always teasing Kishmas. He's 21, but going off of his characters, until he told me what his age was, I thought he was in his 30s.
I thought he was older too because he's a very mature.
Exactly.
Did I cut out?
If you stopped talking, you did. Yeah, don't stop talking if nobody says anything. Keep talking.
Okay, but I thought he was older because his role play is very mature.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what it kind of comes down to. Even for adults, it's maturity. When it comes, if you want to play an older character, like Sibh'Bae, you played kind of an older character too.
I played an old man, yeah.
Right. You're not hundreds of years old. I want to verify that first, right? You're not actually hundreds of years old.
Maybe.
I mean, I played
I'll never
Xanus.
tell. How about that?
Xanus.
You look good for 100.
Xanus was
really good for 100.
But I'm not actually 1,000 years old.
Exactly.
But what if it comes down to, even at any age really, is just the maturity of the player and, how well that translates into the character. Because I think we all have seen characters that are supposed to be high lords and they're supposed to be super smart, but
oh god, don't get me started.
But
they act like kids, yeah.
Right. What?
Like the 800-year-old vampire who has a temper tantrum because Vodka told him that he couldn't leave the clinic until he got his wound addressed.
Right.
Yeah. And she was like, how old are you?
And doesn't know what mustard is. Right.
Yeah.
I've never seen this yellow substance. What is it?
What's mustard?
Wait,
I did have Jazz fooled early on. She thought I was older than I was, and that was
I had no idea because he was young, but he played a very mature character, and that's why I think I rethought a lot of it to more what his guild is doing, in the sense of, instead of saying you can't be in this guild if you're under 18, I think it's much better to say, I'll let you in. You need to behave. You need to tell people how old you are. Mm-hmm. And if there's a problem, you're going to hear about it. Right. So behave.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of starting your own guild?
Me?
Yeah.
I've thought about it. And here's the thing. I have not role-played on ESO or any MMO for that part. ESO was my first role-play MMO. So, I've thought about it, and I'm like, I could do this kind of better, but I want to gain more experience in the RP community before I do anything like that. I've only made 3 characters, one of them dead. So, it feels like I don't think I have the experience to do it yet, but I think I will in the future for sure.
Yeah.
I was just curious about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
no.
And that's how a lot of guilds come about, is exactly that. I like this. I think I could do it better.
Exactly.
That's why this podcast is here.
Yeah.
I wanted to listen to a roleplay podcast, and the only ones that existed were for other games that I didn't play, and I listened to them, and I'm like, I don't really agree with what you guys say, because you're playing main characters from the actual game instead of making your own. Yep. I think I can do this better.
Yeah.
So far, we're still hoping that comes true. Oh, lost me again, didn't you? Right in the middle of my joke, man.
And you're back.
Way to ruin the joke, Discord. Good thing is the podcast people got to hear it in all its hilarity, and trust me, oh my God, was it funny? It was hysterical.
No,
I'll be watching on Spotify, and I will be the judge of that.
Yeah,
exactly.
It was hilarious.
You just keep telling yourself
Yeah,
that.
everybody, when you're listening on Twitch, you guys will be able to hear me. It's just the guys on Discord that are cutting out. That's why. It's because mine's streaming directly into it and streaming directly into to OBS, which is what we record in. So at least you guys will get to hear how hilarious I am. I mean, because really, that's all that matters.
I'm so torn up that I missed your punchline, bro. Truly.
Don't
I will
feed the
send
troll.
I will send you a ham. I'm gonna send him a ham as. Yeah, well, and so did you. That's the thing.
Nice.
When we cut
Rest in
out,
peace.
we all cut out. It's definitely something with Discord. So
Yeah.
They'll fix it.
yeah,
They'll fix
eventually.
it eventually.
But like I was saying, when it comes to maturity, I mean, and shoot, that's probably an episode all in itself right there. But
Because God knows there are some out there that are our age that are not mature enough to be playing this.
I have no business playing.
Right,
So,
exactly.
they're selfish, they're self-centered, they actually have no idea how the world works. It's one we'll be going a trope that we're going to be going into next week in celebration of St. Patrick's Day. I just drank 4 bottles of whiskey and I don't feel anything at all. I'm perfectly fine.
Yes, those guys.
No, you didn't.
No.
You know what you have? You have alcohol poisoning. You died. You're
Yeah.
dying. You're
I'll
actually
tell you,
dying.
you see that so much because of I've been a bartender in so many different games.
Oh,
and it
yeah.
takes
There it goes again. Yeah. This is so frustrating, guys. I can't even tell you how friggin' frustrating this cutting out thing is.
Should we disconnect and come back and see what happens?
I'm gonna say let's go ahead and give that a try. If everybody on the stream, you guys don't mind holding on for a minute, I'll be able to cut this out on the podcast because editing. So I'd actually go ahead and just completely close out Discord, and we'll be right back, everybody, and then bring it back up and just jump back in here.
Yeah.
We'll go a little bit longer, see if maybe it straightens itself out. Because if it was happening to just one of us, it would definitely be something with our connections. But the fact that we all stop hearing each other all at the exact same time, and that we all kick on in the middle of the next sentence all at the exact same time, it's Discord. It's, so as Indigo Jewel said, welcome back from these messages. But yeah, so going back to what we were saying, and I'll edit this stuff together. So for you on the podcast, nothing is wrong. Everything is fine. Everything is okay. It's screwy. But like we were saying, the maturity is like the biggest thing because there's plenty of adults. They're spoiled brats. They don't know how the real world works. They don't know how to play an older character, let alone somebody that actually acts their own age. And like talking with you, Manning, I mean, over the typing and over like this here, you're obviously pretty mature for, I actually don't think you're pretty mature for a 16-year-old. I think you're just a mature 16-year-old. You're just a mature person.
Yeah, totally.
Who doesn't act like an idiot just because being stupid is cool, Yeah. I really do.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Ignorance is fun. No, it's not. You just sound like a jackass.
Have you ever been called out on your role play? Like somebody go, yeah, you can't, you're not.
Well,
correct.
I mean, I've been... I mean, most of it was just like guild circumstances. You know how guilds kind of like clump together and they're like, we have to do it this way.
Right. Oh, and we lost him again. No.
Drawn out paragraphs, right? And I tend to go in spurts.
We lost you.
We lost you. Repeat.
Okay.
Sorry.
So the 16-17 guild that I'm in, they tend to go in long paragraphs, right? And I tend to go like very fast because I think that when you go by like maybe not sentence by sentence, but every once in a while just enter and then So every once in a while when you press enter, it gives more time to react to things.
Right.
So that's the way I play, but they play long, drawn-out paragraphs. So
I
they're
do
like,
that
oh,
too.
yeah. Yeah,
that's
so
what I do. I put constant. I'll put an emote, and then I'll put what I say.
Yep.
And it gives time for people to interject,
to react.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
I like that better.
Exactly, but they like to do long drawn-out paragraphs, and they get annoyed at me because I talk too fast and then I change things too fast. So they have to like delete like a whole paragraph and then retype the whole thing. I'm like, you know what?
Learn to type faster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, learn to type faster. But no, I mean, I try to adapt to them.
I know. I'm
so
mini jazz. That's all I can say. Mini jazz.
Yeah, it sounds like he's a lot like me. Poor thing.
Yep. And there it goes again. Boop boop boo doo 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 doo.
For what I found on this.
There it goes.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so what did you guys last hear me say?
I don't know. Everyone was laughing, so that was the last thing I heard.
We were calling mini jazz. So
generally I tend to see people that are very, very nice. You know what I mean? Like all my guild people are very, very respectful and stuff like that. So, and that's just ESO that I've heard. I mean, I've heard that Switter is a totally different thing. But
yeah.
So you have a.
Oh, you're out, Sib. Man, so we might have to cut this one a little short just because we might have to cut this episode just a bit short because we can't keep doing it like this. I will say one thing.
Annoying.
Mr. Fear the Cute One said, when I used to RP and MIRC, we used to call the long drawn-out paragraphs RPster baiting. I actually like that. That's pretty funny. One other thing, let's see. Yeah, Marivia in the other chat. I'm curious as to the difference between the time frame when I was a young RPer on the internet compared to now. I don't think there was ever 18 plus requirements when I was 12 myself 14 years ago. And it might not have been 14 years ago. That would have been what, 2004?
Yeah.
Or so.
There definitely was.
There probably
I was
were
3.
Just depending.
Sheesh.
You're 3.
Oh my gosh. That's so depressing.
That is a little.
I don't understand how that's depressing, but okay.
It's depressing for
gotta love it, Jazz.
It's depressing for her, not for you.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
You just made her feel
Took me a second.
super duper old.
Guild leader tears.
Yeah.
Guild leader tears are the best tears.
Yeah.
Yes. Kind of like my kids going, Led Zeppelin, what's that?
Oh, no. I'm cultured, okay?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's always a time. There was always a time for anyone except for Jazz who was like, had to first learn about Led Zeppelin. It's okay. Jazz was just around when they first started.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I was listening to Led Zeppelin when I was 5.
Right.
So I know who they are, but it is...
Yeah, that was the guys that took down the Hindenburg, isn't it?
Be quiet.
Dang, son.
Stop. Stop.
You know, and that's Airtheal, Diana. That is exactly it. My kids have never known a time, I hate dogs, when there wasn't an internet. And most of the people, young people under 30, don't remember a time when there wasn't something. So I remember my first computer didn't have a hard drive, and you used this floppy disk that was 5.5 inches big. And
it wasn't even that floppy.
And we played
5 miles
Frogger.
uphill in the snow.
Both ways.
I mean,
Frogger on a color television set that was half the big as the room. So, you know, it was...
But the screen was only 13 inches.
Yes.
Vibrant Color brought to you by CBS.
Technicolor.
Technicolor. That's great.
Yeah. And of course every contestant gets a carton of Lucky Strike brand cigarettes. Lucky Strike, smooth going down.
I remember cigarette commercials. I remember cigarette commercials on billboards. I remember alcohol commercials. You know.
Well, alcohol commercials are still a thing. Cigarette commercials, not so much.
They were gone for a long time.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
Back. Yes.
Advertising doesn't work at all.
Yeah, right. So it's
And we lost her. We lost her right in mid-sentence. Mid-sentence Jazz.
I would go
We
there to get
lost you
information.
We lost you.
We're back.
Jazz.
What did I miss?
Pretty much the entire thing.
It cut everybody on Discord pretty much.
Yeah, it does. I'm watching it, and everybody, you guys can all be chatting and laughing, and then boom, everything goes from white to black to nothing. It's just mid-sentence.
Well, anyway, as I was saying, I remember MIRC and the MUDs and the things like that, and like my husband started RPing in MUDs. I started RPing, on stage. It was called theater.
I took theater in the 7th grade.
I'm a thespian.
Jazz of the theater.
I'm a thespian?
You crazy thespians in your way.
Yes.
Oh, man.
I was in theater when I was 8, and then we started going to impromptu. Not impromptu.
Improv?
Improv. Jeez, I can't talk tonight. Improv.
Impromptu.
She was so good at it, it was called impromptu back in her day.
Yes, it was very funny.
Love you, Jazz.
And then I got involved with D&D secretly, of course, because my mother believed it was the gateway to hell.
Well, it is.
Oh.
It teaches you how to do magic spells,
It depends
I wasn't allowed to listen to metal either.
Just like metal in Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Depends which ninth level of hell you're trying to get to in D&D, but yeah, I digress.
Yeah. There was I heard this great thing from a congressman from Findle. It was about remember back in the day when games came with like rule books that were thicker than the actual game cartridge. Well,
cool
he had one of these. It doesn't, and he had the guidebook for the original Final Fantasy, which tiny little polygons, or not polygons, sprites, and I mean they looked like garbage, but it had all the details for the spell, and like one of them was it was like Fire or something like that, and he's like, and this says on the outside, it's a world of magic, and that this spell book, they include it in this video game, will teach children how to do magic, and that's why.
You laugh, but that was my childhood.
Right.
Just to put things
on the floor of the Senate.
Just to put things in perspective.
How to do magic.
I remember Firaga from Kingdom Hearts, not Final Fantasy. So,
well, Kingdom.
I mean,
that's that's where Kingdom Hearts.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah. Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy are kind of intertwined, but I'm saying that Kingdom Hearts came out way later than Final Fantasy. I never played a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, that was a spell they took from that. That was a crossover. Yeah. Fire, and then Firaga. I think if I'm remembering.
Phoenix Down, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, but no, that was a great sound clip and that was in the 80s, because I think the first Final Fantasy came, which is an ironic statement, the first Final Fantasy.
It was old school MIDI music, all kinds of low end. 8-bit theater for sure.
Yeah, but that was it's just so, and what's funny, and in 30 years they still blame video games for everything wrong in the world. We're literally right back where we started. Oh yeah, I know. At least this time now, it's not teaching children how to cast the devil's spells.
In my church, they made a D&D by hand that was Christian friendly.
Oh my God, I would love to get my hands on that.
I have it somewhere in my box. Mice haven't ate it. It's still there. I mean, and it was because we had a D&D originally that you could lay down
the old ones.
The old ones where you could lay down a card and you could make your cave pattern and you could walk in it, and go through. That's how it used to do. And they did that. I mean, they did the whole thing just so that you wouldn't play D&D. And of course, what that did was we wanted to play D&D because it was advertising D&D. And so I ended up
I get dibs on Jesus' resurrection powers.
Yeah.
God. I get the power of turning water into wine.
Oh man, that would be so abused.
Walking on water, bro.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Got grounded for 2 weeks because he called Jesus a zombie.
You live in the
because
Oh man!
no,
There was a
But-
Futurama episode that they no longer. They actually removed that line. It was something like "Sweet Zombie Jesus," and
yes,
they aired that the first time and a few times since then, and then after that, it got they edited that line out of the show, which is it's comedy. I mean, I get it; it's offensive, but if you let it go. It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, the power to walk on water, that's a good one. That's the multiplying things also. Oh, well, everybody else can hear me.
It's a really great
time.
And we're
reason.
back.
There we go. And we're back, everybody. Thanks for joining us right in the middle of my sentence. The multiplying food one too, Sibh'Bae. Also, also
that would
very
be
excellent
awesome.
superpower.
Yes, it is.
I mean, if we're
2 fish, 4
Yeah.
loaves of bread, feeding 3,000 people. Epic.
it's definitely a good power to have. I still think he could have taken Apocalypse because they were both there at the same time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna cross over into that in Sabanur. So what were we talking about?
I don't know.
Oh,
the
yeah,
hiccup, we're in-
underage role
we're in the
playing.
feng shui.
Yeah,
we were really.
we've pretty well this stupid hiccup thing has pretty much derailed the entire show. It is. For once, it's actually not my fault. It really kind of it's
still your fault. We're gonna
it's-
still blame
it's-
you.
It's if the nitro thing actually made so that you got like if it was like the hey, if you give us an extra $5, we'll give you the the highway road. Yeah, I'd actually spend that. But that's not what Nitro does. It just lets you actually support them, which is awesome. I do love the Discord and I love the people, but doing $5 a month just so I could have moving emoticons is not really worth it.
Right. That's kind of was my opinion right there.
I
I was like, that's not worth it, guys.
I keep looking at it and I'm like, I really actually kind of want to give you guys $5, but I'm going to need something else other than moving emoticons because if I'm paying for it, but you guys aren't, and I use one, it's not going to work. And I'm now wasting time because I'm cutting out. This is going to be a really weird show listening on the podcast.
This is really
gonna be-
strange.
Yeah, it wouldn't be so bad if it happened once every 5 minutes, but it's like once every minute now. It's getting worse, I think, not better.
Is it getting worse?
You suspect
Yes,
we're being
it's-
attacked or hacked somehow?
Maybe.
They could be getting it. Well, I mean, we have all logged into Discord and seen when all your like little things on the side are all X'd out,
That's
when they
true.
do server resets and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I don't know. They
It
could.
just sucks that we have a guest one and it happens when we have a guest.
He's 16.
Oh, it's all good.
He doesn't care.
Yeah. I don't really care.
He's young. He
anyways.
doesn't count.
I don't think that is a...
I mean, you're not
That's
even real
rude.
people until you can drink. Am I right, everybody?
Oh my gosh, really?
No, actually, Manning, I
I'm
do.
just gonna leave
He
now.
can,
Yeah.
he can drink in
Bow
the
your head
game.
and that's another good question. Do you drink in the game? You can't hear me. See, it's getting worse. It's totally getting worse now. It's not getting better. It's getting
Yeah.
way, way worse.
Yeah.
I said he could drink in the game, and he asked, "Do you actually drink in the
Do
game?"
you drink in the
Yeah,
game?
no. I was gonna say, yeah. Alaric is actually quite a lover of mead, just like his nephew who has died. So
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Mm-hmm. It's already.
So-
you hate to see alcoholism start so young. That's how it starts, Manning. It starts. You're only
Yeah.
16, and it starts in role play, and it just carries on into real life. By
No,
By
I don't think that's
17 years
entirely
old,
true, but-
you're going to be alone on the streets, just like in the gutter, like Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, I got another month to look.
Minus the poetry.
We're gonna find him in the mean streets of Tamriel,
Yeah, that's right.
stuck in the gutter.
Dubuque, Iowa.
I'm just gonna turn into a Khajiit. Start.
There you go. Furry confirmed.
that.
Furry confirmed. Get him off the show. Get him off the show. Yeah, but no, you play a Nord, so you're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're not like that the human Floyd, and
He plays in it.
yeah, he plays a art. Yeah, but it's still you're cut out. Yeah, this is so annoying.
This is
There we go.
I was gonna say
is
our
really
very
annoying.
own
All right.
Sibh'Bae plays a Khajiit.
So we're going to go ahead and start wrapping up, but I did have actually one more question for you, Manning. And I'm sorry, everybody. It's just going to have to be a short show because, frankly, I think you're probably all tired of hearing me sing in between everything. And ironically, this is the time when Kishmish is probably about to log in any moment now when he should be getting off work. So, there's that. So he's going to get here, and there you go. And Kishmish is going to be like, well, I'm here for the show. And I'm like, all right, good night, everybody. All right, so I'm going to ask you one other thing, if you're cool with answering it.
Go ahead.
One thing you had said when I'd asked you if you've actually told, if your parents know about your hobby, and you had told me no. Why is that?
No. I don't think that they would understand. Both of them are quite, well, they're not like unaccepting. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
no,
we can hear you. Yeah.
I was just making sure that didn't cut out. Okay, so it cuts out. No, so they're not very accepting, or they're accepting of that kind of stuff, but it would be weird to them. You know what I mean? They grew up
trying
not really
to figure it out.
Yeah. So they wouldn't really understand, and then they would take it the wrong way. I think if I told them the word roleplay, they would be like, "Oh, sexual roleplay? What?" And I'm like, "No. That's not what I do."
Yeah. The last thing you want
exactly.
Last thing you want to see is telling them, and your mom looks to your dad and says, this is all your fault. Your guys are gone again. I know.
But
there we go.
He said the last thing you'd like to see is your dad look at your mom and say, this is all your fault.
Yeah. You should have hit the fuzzy handcuffs. Exactly. And you don't want it. So, that's a trauma no kid needs to go through. Trust me, at 38 years old, I don't like to think about it.
Yeah.
So I guess in that sense, my kids are lucky to have parents that roleplay.
Yeah,
I'm perfectly okay with it, but the minute that I hear something inappropriate, like there was a 33-year-old guy, am I still on?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, a 33-year-old guy talking to my son, who at the time was 12, and roleplay putting his arm around him, and I heard his voice. And I knew he wasn't a kid, and I was like, my perk, mom radar came on, and I walked over, I leaned down to him, picked up his mic and said, he's a child, go away now. And he hung up and never came back.
Right.
Revenge of the Creepers.
Right.
They were out there creeping around.
Yeah. So, surprisingly, sorry, never mind, I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, I was going to add, we had a show a couple of weeks ago about trying to explain what we do to people, RPing.
Yep.
And it's funny because I would try to tell my mom, but she wouldn't have a clue. I mean, she doesn't have a clue, and she always is like, it sounds so interesting, but I'm like,
I don't know. Yeah, she doesn't go to the sexual place. She just literally doesn't get what
she doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Are your parents actually gamers at all, or are they just
no?
Okay, see, and that's the hard bridge.
That's
to gap.
The big difference,
exactly.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So if they were gamers, they would understand, but no, they grew up not really doing that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
Now the weird thing is that Jason's parents, my husband's parents, are not really the father sort of does games, but not like our kind of games. Yeah. He's not an MMO player, but he plays games. And his kids all do, so but they all seemed to be very involved with their kids is what they were doing. So when we explained that, she was like, what do you do in there for hours? Because when she comes to visit, I won't go in there, but she'll hear sometimes people going, where are you? Why are you gone? So I'll explain that I role play and I run a guild and this. She was like, that is so neat. I don't suppose you'd let me watch. I said, I think you'd be really weirded out. But she wasn't bad about it, And when she listens to my boys role playing, she was like, are they really just pretending? I'm like, yeah, it's just pretend.
Yeah,
that's
it's literally
just,
it's the same as when my friends and I would play the G.I. Joes, and I got to be Hawkeye or whatever, and it's literally just this. It's the same thing, just grown up.
Yep.
So and a little more complicated.
You cut out, by the way, for me.
Yeah.
So one thing I did want to say, like back when we first started, it was like when I was a kid, I played pretend with my cousin. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's literally just playing pretend, but with more like a controller in your hand instead of
and a little. And the stories are hopefully a little more complicated.
Yes, exactly.
A little more character development than, when that favorite Lego person of yours got cut in half because it was neat. And it came apart at the waist.
Yep, that's very true.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, listen, guys, I'm sorry we're going to have to just cut it short because...
it's driving you insane.
It's driving me out of my fucking mind.
It's driving us all nuts.
I'm completely done.
We're all like,
driving everybody crazy. So since I'm not going to cut out no matter what happens, I'm going to do a couple of last minute things here. One of them is I actually, first of all, before I do that, Manning, dude, thanks for showing up. And thanks for this show idea. I'm sorry that this happened.
It's all fine.
Happened to you. It's been
a great...
out of our hands, but... And there he goes. And he's gone. There he is.
All right, so no, it's all fine. It's been a great experience. I love talking with you guys, and thank you for having me on your guys' show. It's really
thank
cool.
you for listening, and most of all, he's
so
underage.
much.
Don't be kissing at him. What the hell's wrong with you? What did you not listen to
Mwah.
the show?
Doesn't hurt.
It was like a...
Anyway, so,
but no, thank you for
oh Lord.
The idea for it is actually a really good one, and it's actually I think one we'll probably have to touch on again sometime. Hopefully without the stuff like we're ordering McDonald's. So man, thank you very, very much for showing up. I know I'm just gonna keep talking because I can't stop. I can't stop anymore.
I thank you guys for having me on, and it's been a great time. I'm going to be just as active as anyone else, hopefully in the community, maybe more. So I'll be listening to you guys, and thank you guys for having me on.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sadly, I gotta go. So
no problem.
Thank you guys.
Have a good
nice
one, man.
Night. Peace. See you guys in Spot.
Have a blessed night.
All right. So one other thing I'm going to share with everybody. I actually linked it in the general chat. And guys, I'm just going to talk and do this part, and I'll probably close out the show because if you start talking, it's just going to cut out again. We all know it. So one thing I wanted to share was we actually had a talk about a rubber chicken in our last episode, and this is actually kind of neat because it's technically I think this is our first fan-made thing. So David R. Haley, he does a lot of the voice acting stuff. He's the guy I actually fought with in Dragon Ball FighterZ. Fought with is actually somewhat of a relative term. It was beat the crap out of. Sorry, David, dude, I love you. But he did this little skit of his. He's an amazing voice actor, but it was based off the rubber chicken thing. So I wanted to play that because it had me cracking up. And I'm going to try not to laugh while it's going on. So I wanted to share it. So hopefully you guys enjoy it as much as I did.
Okay. Thank you all for coming here at short notice. Khajiit Hope's Abspin doesn't mind that one borrowed some of her crows to send you all messages to get you here as soon as possible. What is this about, Zerothra? You know Hrothgar is quite a distance to travel to Morrowind. My ass is aching from the ride over. Same for me. I'm much too old to be venturing across the rocky plains. Why ask for us? Is there something we can help you with? Are you in another bind with coin? Or are you pushing that moon sugar again? No. None of that. One has simply come across some sort of unknown creature. And how does this need to involve us? Seriously? This doesn't sound important at all. Zerothra thinks it's dying. What in all the nern is that thing? It looks sort of like a sick pale bird. Exactly! Khajiit doesn't know. It just fell from the sky, and it made that sound. Sounds part guar and a sick owl? What do you suspect is wrong with it? It's just lying there. This seems like some sort of work by the Daedra. I can't help but stare at it and feel terrible for it. Couldn't say what to do. but wanted to ask for your help on what we could probably do with it. What if more of these creatures started falling from the sky? May the Nine save us!
All right. So that was that. I actually put it in there. You guys, I know not everyone could hear it in our chat thing, but everybody on the show can. I hope you enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty funny, and I thought it was kind of cool that actually somebody cared enough to do that.
Yes, it was very funny.
But, with everything, sorry again, guys, for all the technical difficulties, both live and that will probably show up on the podcast. Some of it I'll be able to edit out. Some of it's just going to be a really goofy-ass episode. But at least for once, audio problems weren't my fault. It's not something on my end. So that's really all that matters.
What did you say? What episode is this? And we've not had any trouble until...
34. Yeah, 34 episodes.
Just now.
And most of the problems have been with microphones and stuff on my end, not with Discord. So that's a pretty good track record, and hopefully they'll get their shit together. So with that, I want to thank everybody for listening tonight. Let's see here. Go ahead and click on that. But no, appreciate everybody listening live.
Thanks, everybody.
At twitch.tv/RPMMORadio.
We love you guys.
And I'm talking, woman. Don't talk over the outro. What the hell's wrong with you? Don't make me. Oh my God!
Bye.
There's the other
Bye.
one. Just
We love
sweet
you all.
Mary Mother. Oh, this is Sibh'Bae. This is why I wanted this show all male. This is literally right here. They
I didn't
just
say anything, bro.
They can't control themselves. I know. I'm just confirming this with you.
Bye.
Oh, there they go. But no, again, twitch.tv/RPMMORadio. Appreciate everyone. Of course, you could join us next week. It will, of course, it's going to be St. Patrick's Day, So bring your own Tullamore Dew or whatever you want to drink, and we're going to have a good one. We're going to be having so much fun. Yeah, oh, gee, except for you over there. Jesus Christ, look at you, you wee fatty. Could you try to push the plate away from you every now and then? Maybe you don't have to shove everything into your feckin' gob. Sweet Mary Mother, look at you. Good God. Anyway, so everybody, we're going to have a fun St. Patrick's Day episode. I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be alcohol related. Because it's St. Patrick's Day. And that's the way a saint would want to be remembered. So, with that, I want to thank everybody on my crew.
Thank you.
Sib, Jazz,
Bye.
Strafay, and
Have a good night.
Kishmas,
Have a
which
good
is
night.
just now
Bye,
showing
Christmas.
up and is going to already be gone.
You know,
so.
he's 21.
He is
He's
21.
He is
So-
21.
With that, I want
Are we still talking over you?
You are still talking
What?
over me. I don't know if you're
Really?
aware of that.
Over you.
I actually almost
No.
wish Discord would cut you off at this point. So with that, again, join us next time when we'll talk about halflings and why I'm fairly sure every single one of them is a child predator. Because they just want to be with someone their height. Super creepy. It finally cut them out. Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. RPMMORadio. Good night, everybody. The thoughts and opinions of RPMMORadio and their hosts are just that and should not be taken as the gospel truth. Music, as always, is provided by Husky by the Geek. Visit him at youtube.com/HuskyByTheGeek to hear all his great video game rock covers and original music.